course.
But partly because in recounting it and sharing it, you also signaled that it can be talked about, it can be faced, and it can be transcended and got by. And that's what you're doing in real time on a comedy stage. It's like, yeah, we share this snake pit of hell that we all live in from time to time, but that doesn't mean that we have to dive in and wallow in it. We can make light of it. And that's what great comedians do continually. And so I thought that's what you did with the domestic violence joke.
Well,
and you added some nice kitchen-related misogyny to that very rapidly, which was a good...
It's a modern twist on an old joke, you know what I mean? It was a real circumstance that happened. I'm sorry. An exaggerated instance that really happened, and I went, you know, this is a classic joke. Why not give my own personal modern twist on it and move on? The joke's like a minute and 30 seconds, and people were like, all he did was bash women for an hour. I go, did you get to the cum? There's so much cum in the middle of the show. Then we talk about airplanes and ghosts and monsters. It was such a minute thing that I go, hey, and I purposely did it first in the show to go, hey, just so you know, this is the kind of humor I like to tell. And if it's not for you, you are so more than welcome to turn off the TV right now. I don't want you to fall in love with me and then paint a wrong perspective of who you think I am. And then halfway through the show, he goes, oh, he ruined it. I'd rather tell you up front, like, hey, we're gonna do some dark humor because this is how I personally...
Jimmy Carr does that too. He often starts out with the worst thing he can possibly say, just to establish the boundaries.
Why not? Yeah. I find it wildly important to make light of dark situations. I feel like you have two options to deal with the situation. You can either, when it comes to a certain topic, you can either let it take up a negative space in your mind and energy to where if the word or topic even gets said around you, you get so triggered and uncomfortable, it ruins your day.
And the day of everyone around you.
Yes, or you can find a way to laugh about it, find a way to heal. So that way, next time somebody brings it up, maybe you have something positive to say about your experience or how you've come to deal with it that can then lead to other people healing through the same way. When my grandpa passed away, my friends knew. My friends bombarded me with dead grandfather jokes. They knew that was gonna help me laugh and get through that. And it was the toughest moment of my entire life. And to this day.
That's also a testament in many ways to your character, because your friends knew that even under those dire circumstances, that they could still poke and prod at you and that you might be able to manage the situation with something approximating a sense of humor.
Precisely.
You know, when I lectured at Harvard for a long time on Auschwitz, and that's about as dark a topic as you can possibly manage. And I had a voice in the back of my mind constantly. It was dead serious lectures, right? And the voice said continually, if you were truly a master of this topic, you could deal with it with a light touch. And I thought, oh my God, really? Like, really? I'm going to talk about how prison guards took delight in torturing people at Auschwitz, and I'm going to do that with a light touch? And I realized, after thinking about that for a very long time, like decades really, that you aren't a master of something until you can deal with it with a light touch, no matter how dark a subject that it is. And like, obviously, the darker the subject, the more mastery you have to have in order to make light of it, clearly, right, without going sideways. But I still do think it's a sign of mastery, and that's why people enjoy the laughter so much, right? Because it is a signal of mastery, often over tragedy and what's forbidden and what's dark. And to interfere with that, that means that the woke types who are interfering with that are actually doing a disservice to the very morality that they claim to stand for, because what you're doing if you're a comic is actually helping people, not hurting them.